What's up, folks? How we doing? Again, I'm not doing super great. All info's here. Please watch this video. I go over it all. We have some guest content on. This is actually a fun one. This is not going to be a specific guest video. This is a video I actually recorded at the Deck Dad studio with Airball, like, honestly, a long time ago, and it kind of just got lost and never really got published. So now we're going to do that. It's me and Airball playing Pioneer. Airball's playing Lotus Field. I'm playing Waste Not. It's a paper Magic match, which is super fun, so enjoy that. I love a Decked Out crew. We're all so freaking awesome. So huge prop to them. Go check them out. And of course, like, comment, subscribe, support the content, and hopefully we'll be soon. Look for more of these guest videos. I love y'all. Hi, I'm Jim Davis, professional Magic player and full-time content creator.
And I'm Airball, and I am also a full-time content creator.
All right, I am playing a Waste Not, and this is kind of like a format darling where Waste Not, of course, was a community design card. Magic players love discard, kind of a fan favorite card. It's always been kind of a meme card, but it has quite the shell around it in Pioneer, and it also has kind of like a natural prey in Arclight Phoenix, where Phoenix is a deck that uses the graveyard and wants to discard cards like Ledger Shredder, so your Waste Not has extra value against Phoenix and other decks who want to just discard cards incidentally, because you still get your effect as well. So Waste Not, of course, is an enchantment that gives you a bonus if your opponent discards a card. If it's card a non-creature, you draw a card, let land, get mana, or creature, you make a zombie token, which is very, very cool. And you don't really need to go too far as like playing weird cards to make it good, because cards like Liliana of the Veil, Thoughtseize, and then Go Blank are just great cards in the format anyway. Go Blank, a little more of a sideboard card, but still very, very effective. And then of course you get Waste Not. And maybe the lands too. I think the real card that made this deck kind of be a real thing was Gaia Reach Sanitarium, as a way to make your opponent draw and then discard, which is a problem with Waste Not decks where you empty their hand and then their hand is empty, so you can't get any benefit off Waste Not. So Sanitarium is great lands in the monocolor mana base here, and then great that's like Sheolder, the new card, somewhat new. Carving the Punisher, you're criming all over the place, get to flash back your spells, Bank Bust to draw some cards. Just a really, really cool grindy mid-range deck with a really cool slant. Roll it up.
All right.
We got
9.
Do I roll a 9 every time?
I think you have.
Yeah, kind of weird.
I think I rolled a 2 last time too.
Yeah, I'm gonna go first. And let's see what we got here. All right, so definitely a matchup where I need to make sure I'm stopping you. I mean, it sounds kind of stupid and obvious, but like, you know, who's the beatdown paradigm of I'm the beatdown. I need to stop you from doing your thing and go from there. I guess like inevitability wise, I suppose I have more inevitability than you do, where like if I get you down to nothing, it should be hard for you to recover from like only 1 or 2 cards. Right?
If I can establish 2 Lotuses, then I have an inevitability. If I can't, then you do.
Very fair. All right, well, let's, that in mind, I'm gonna mulligan a Lance and Spells hand, because it doesn't really do enough. We got some Boom Booms and some Lance. But I think Liliana is great in this matchup, but Bad God, not very exciting. Shoulder kind of slow and just not really doing anything the first few turns. And of course, Field of Ruin is not really helping. I feel like it hit your Thespian stage beforehand.
If that Bad God was a Waste Not, I think that's a snap deep.
I agree. Yeah, I need some other thing to do early on. The Bad God is far too slow. So
I'm also gonna mulligan Lands and Spells, but that's pretty normal for this deck. No way to find Lotus Field. Sometimes you keep these hands against Waste Not, but this one's, I think, a little too bad, not being able to do anything until turn 5.
Yeah, and then I've been told with the Lotus Field that like if you don't have a way to produce Lotus Field, you should mulligan. Kind of similar to Tron in like modern old school Tron, where like if you don't have a way to find Tron, you should just mulligan. So cool. All right, so let's try that one again.
Lear.
Both on 6, which I think does hopefully favor me. And sure, we will keep this hand. We've got our curve. This card's cool, but I think a little excessive. So good on my side.
Yeah, this is going to be another mull. Just this one's unkeepable. Thoughtseize on 1 is almost guaranteed. Ball Gap Recovery is going away, and then it's a 1-lander.
Being able to Thoughtseize a land is pretty sweet. So yeah.
Yeah, this is definitely a keep. Ready when you are.
All right, so playing Waste Not, opponent's on 5 cards. We're happy. Swamp.
Yeah.
Just Swamp, go. Yeah,
okay.
No Thoughtseize. So worst feeling in Magic, mulligan to 5 and get Thoughtseize. So not gonna do it to you.
All right. Well, here's Bar's Headquarters tapped.
All right. We're gonna draw. Pretty good land, honestly, to draw there. We like that one. So we're gonna go Takanuma. Namesake. Find your Waste Not.
All right.
You're up.
I think I'm supposed to just play another Bar's Headquarters tapped and say go.
Okay. So untap and All right, we'll play our Gaia Reach Sanitarium, which is a really, really cool land with Waste Not, allowing me to trigger Waste Not even if you're empty-handed, which is awesome. And then we're gonna fire up old Liliana of the Veil.
Okay.
So we're gonna put on Lily, and we're gonna plus Liliana to make each player discard a card. All right, so I've discarded a Shieldred.
I'm gonna pitch a ball to get recovery.
Yep, so Waste Not will trigger as you discard a non-creature, and I will draw a card. And you are up.
Okay. And I'll play out this Proctor.
Okay.
And then I'll play Lotus Field, trigger, and pass to you.
All right, so big thing for you, I think, is definitely just getting your Lotus Fields in play and making mana. Like usually ramp versus discard, get your mana in play, and then top deck what you need. So.
Yeah, at this point, even if you get me Hellbent, I can top deck Poorer for the pages and just go off.
Yep, for sure. All right, so we're gonna untap and draw. And now I need to decide how important is that Strict Proctor at this point? Is it even worth edicting, or should I just keep going for your hand? You got how many cards in hand? 3?
I have 3 cards in hand.
Okay. All right, I think we're gonna start by just plussing the Liliana here and seeing what we get. If we get mana or we get a card.
All right.
Sorry. So I have the Eye Tyrant and
None of the above. You'll get a zombie.
I get a zombie. Okay, so that's probably the best case scenario for you, I would think.
Yes.
So get a zombie. Now you've got 2 cards left. I think we're gonna just fire up the old Shieldred though. So we're gonna play Field of Ruin and cast Shieldred. And Shieldred has some value against you because you're poor over pages and stuff when you're trying to go off. Will now cost you some life. You are 20, so you can still take a decent chunk and potentially go off and kill me, but that's where we are at. So there's old Shelly.
Yep.
And we're gonna pass the turn.
Okay.
So don't kill me.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
All right, so 2 life from the Shieldred.
That is 2 from the Shieldred. Pay 2 for a Sylvan Scry.
Okay. This was one of the downsides of not killing the Proctor also, is giving you access to more Lotus Fields.
Yeah, except we're not going for a Lotus Field.
Oh.
We're gonna go for an Otawara.
Ooh.
Okay, the Otawara will go to hand, and then I'll play a Lotus Field, and I will decline to pay. Well, I'll swing the Proctor at Lily, and then I'll pass to you.
All right, so Liliana goes down to 4. We're gonna start by just plussing the Liliana of the Veil.
And, in response to the Liliana activation, I'm gonna cycle Aspira's Headquarters.
Yep. So I'm gonna get 2 black mana off of my Waste Not.
Yep.
So Liliana's still in the stack. We haven't chosen our cards yet. I'm gonna use the 2 black mana floating. I'm gonna activate the Sanitarium. So each player is going to draw a card and then discard a card.
Okay.
So we will draw.
I'll lose 2.
And then I will gain 2. Okay, I'm going to discard this to the Sanitarium.
Mana
You discard
Confluence.
a Confluence, so I get 2 more black mana. And now we're still on the original Liliana discard. I will discard a Waste Not.
Pitch a Lotus Field.
All right, so I get 2 more mana. So I have 4 black mana in the pool. Sure, just let the mana go. Attack for 6.
Take 6.
And I will pass the turn. Discarded the Lotus Field, that is fine. Sure. Yeah, I'll do this now. I'm gonna kill this now. I'm not gonna be trying to be tricky with it. Sure, let's kill that. And so yeah.
All right. Well, I'll draw. Take 2.
Yep.
We're just gonna play Lear. And usually I want to cast something right away, but I don't think I can afford to.
Yeah, nothing really exciting in here, right?
There's a Sylvan Scrying and a Mulligan, which doesn't really do much.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
on my end step, I'll also Otawara the Shieldred back to your hand. You get 2 mana.
okay, so that's that. I get 2 mana, which I can't use. I could field Headquarters. That doesn't.
Yeah.
Sure. So use the mana and field you to get a swamp. I am Shieldred handed. I'm gonna untap and draw, and you were at 8.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think really much to do besides eat if you can play Shieldred, so.
I think that's right.
Yeah, all right, so eat if you're later, attack for 2,
Take 2.
and just cast Shieldred. So, not a very good Waste Not turn for me, but we'll say go. All right, so you take 2.
I do take 2. All right. Well, we'll pay 2 for a Sylvan Scry.
Sure.
And this is definitely Hail Mary mode now. we're gonna fetch a Sparrow's Headquarters.
Oh, okay, I like it.
This is not a line that you really want to take.
Just close your eyes and chuck the ball up in the air.
That is one nice thing about the Sparrow's Headquarters, though. It turns these into 5-mana redraws, and
Yep.
sometimes that's just fine.
For sure.
However, going to 2 off of cycling this
Yes.
is a Razor Ridge Thicket.
Okay.
So,
All right, so the Waste Not Liliana Shoulder Curve takes down the Mulligan to 5.
yeah. What's your sideboard plan, Jim?
All right, so we got Damping Sphere is an obvious one. Just like that's like one of the clutch sideboard cards against this deck. Making your Lotus Field tap for 1 makes things hard for you, obviously. More Duresses, and we actually have these Invoke Despairs, which I imagine is not really for this matchup. But Lava Axe, or whatever, 6 damage, uses sort of a race. If you brought in a sort of weird creature, it's common for the Lotus Field decks to bring in some Jamoka or whatever, other creatures to kind of like have a juke against decks that are be able to stop them with cards like Damping Sphere. I might draw some cards also. It just seems better than like these Shoulders Edicts or just Bat God. Like if I have a choice of playing a 4/4 flyer or Lava Axing you, I want to Lava Axe you.
Sure.
And it's more an assist of also what's coming out here. So Station Event, Cover Up, pretty obvious. The Bat God too slow. We're gonna leave in some removal spells. One of the interesting dynamics about your deck list is the Stern Proctors make it so removal spells aren't dead against you, but you can obviously time it in a way where you play the Proctor in the field immediately and I can't even kill it response, but I still be able to kill them a little bit too. And there's also an element of just like the worst cards in the deck don't matter that much, because we're gonna discard the middle Liliana and so on and so forth. So leave a few pushes in, cut the Edicts, a little bit of a Haymaker, and some hate there.
Makes perfect sense to me. This is a terrible matchup, but one thing that we do to shore it up is we have 2 Ley Lines of Sanctity, which is a nod to how popular this deck got and how many Thoughtseizes and Duresses everyone was running at the Pro Tour, because everyone copied those lists and it was a bad time for Lotus Field players for a while. Soul Partition is a flexible way to deal with hate pieces. It bounces Damping Spheres, it turns off, it exiles Shieldred, it's a one-stop shop, whatever is causing you problems, you get rid of it. And then you take 2 impulses out because usually it's a pretty bad top deck. Usually you don't want to draw it. You don't have the mana to play whatever you draw, and then it gets discarded. And your graveyard's usually a little less reliable. So Mulligan Recovery comes out usually because extra go blanks come in, and you can't count on having anything to buy back. That's it.
Sounds good.
Yeah. We'll keep this.
Yeah, so we got another 4-land, 3-spell hand that I don't really think we can keep, even though all the cards are cheap this time. So we've got Swamp, Takanuma, Castle, and Field. We got Buster, Waste Not. And realistically, I'm not interacting at all. These Busters are really slow against you. They're really reliant on having other pieces of interaction. And then the Waste Nots, it's a cool way to run a discard spell. Not doing anything else. I think I might keep this on 6, maybe, but on 7, I'm just not.
If the second Buster was literally any creature.
I think I agree. Yeah, the second Buster is super diminishing returns. It just doesn't really do anything at that point. So, yeah, we're just going to pack it up and go to 6. All right, so looking at 6 here is a lot better. We can ship down probably just the land here, and then it's not a great hand. Not gonna lie to y'all, but we'll send that down, and then we'll just try and work with it.
Okay. I'll start with a mana Confluence and pass.
All right, so draw. It's not too shabby. Fire up the Hive and fire up a Duress. Classic.
Yeah. So Duress can hit an Omniscience or a Hidden Strings. The rest are lands and creatures.
All right, I think Hidden Strings it is. You have the field and the stage rolled up. That's not ideal for me, but sure.
Okay.
All right, so that's that, and you're up.
Okay. And I'll play a Thicket and pass.
All right, so untap. Big draw. Not quite. Name blacks, they go.
So I'm gonna take a pain and float blue-white.
Okay.
I'll play Lotus Field, and with the Lotus Field trigger on the stack, I'll cycle the Vizier.
Okay, so nothing floating, untap.
And then we'll go ahead and go to sacrifice these 2.
Cool.
And pass turn.
All right, so we're gonna untap. And draw. All right. Well, I guess we're going blank. We're gonna just make you discard 2 cards and exile that graveyard. If that's cool with you.
It's not particularly cool with me. I think it's Omniscience in this Odawara.
Okay. So those are gone. That's exiled, and we'll just pass turn.
Yeah. I'm going to, on your end step, I'm going to cast Archdruid's Charm.
Okay. Searching for a creature or land.
Yes. Put the Thespian stage in tapped.
All right.
Play out the stage. Yep. We're going to tap 5, and we're going to cast Pour.
All right.
Draw 3. I'll untap 2. And what do I discard? This Sylvan Scrying is past prime. Gonna tap 4 mana, and I'm just gonna hard cast Leyline.
Ugh. Okay.
And then pass to you.
That is interestingly problematic. Sure. All right, so we're gonna tap and draw. All right. Yeah, the whole hard cast Leyline out of the blue-green deck. I guess you're white too, but all right. So yeah, play Sanitarium, and it's just a Sheoldred and a Dream.
Yep.
All right, you're Sheoldred, and I will Segio.
Tap,
you
draw,
and you lose 2.
Yep. I'm gonna tap Lotus Field for 3 green, and I'm gonna use 2 of it to cast Sylvan Scrying.
Sure.
I will fetch a Boseiju.
Yep.
And then with the green mana floating, I'll use that and tap 1 extra, and I'll copy this Lotus Field with the Thespian stage.
Sure.
And then pass to you.
All right, untap, draw, gain some life. It's probably pretty important. So basically, I'm deciding if 1 extra point of damage is worth not drawing a card, and then exiling that card being relevant also. The problem is a lot of my good draws involve targeting you, so I don't really love that. I'm also looting you. I'm also helping you find more things too. So yeah, I think the fixing your hand and miss is the tiebreaker. So fire up the Hive and jam, exile, pour over pages, and get in for 7.
I will take 7.
All right, and then just gonna pass the turn.
Let's see if we can do it.
Yep, and then take 2 off the shoulder in your draw step, and here we go.
Play this forest.
Yep.
Okay, so it's this. We're gonna go up to 6 blue, tapping 2 lotuses.
Okay.
And then we're gonna use 3 of it and that 2, going down to 3. And we're gonna cast the most painful pour over the pages of all time.
I'll remember those triggers. Take 6.
I will take 6. And we'll untap these. I don't think there's a way out. That doesn't involve drawing a card.
Let's play face up.
Yeah.
So I have the interaction anyway, so.
Okay, so we have Pier, Boseiju, Sylvan Scrying, Hidden Strings, Proctor. So we have all the mana in the world. Pier will leave me extraordinarily dead.
So dead you'll lose the next game you play also.
Yeah, I think so. Proctor doesn't do anything. I can Scrying and try to get a Sparrow's Headquarters to try to keep digging, but that doesn't work because will draw a card.
Yep.
And there's no way I can get a Mulligan Recovery to bring back Pour over the pages.
Yeah, New to War is an exile, right? Yep. Yeah, so.
Yeah, there's no way I can. There's no weird line involving copying your Hive of the Eye Tyrant and swinging at you to kill you. Yeah, not having the Odawara is the difference maker. Having drawn that earlier, yeah.
So, like, what are your thoughts on the decks? This is the Proctor version versus the more straightforward blue-green version.
So, it really depends on the meta that you expect. I think the Bant version is better right now because Amalia is everywhere. And this guy makes Amalia very sad.
That's very fair.
Ordinarily, that's a pretty bad matchup, but Proctor, I think, brings it pretty close to 50-50. But if you're expecting aggro and decks that want to beat you down, then you really prefer the Grazers and the smoother mana base. I've seen some sideboards run for Leyline of Sanctity as well, because it does seem really, really important to have it in your opening hand in this matchup. I had a choice between whether to copy Lotus Field with Thespian Stage earlier or hardcast the Leyline of Sanctity, and I chose to play the Leyline of Sanctity instead, because I knew I had that pour in my hand, and if it got Thoughtseized away, I was in pretty big trouble. Yeah.
Oh, they've been stuck in my hand ever since you cast the Leyline.
And I knew the only punish for that was Shieldred, but it turns out that you just had me covered no matter what I did.
Yeah, if you hadn't put the Leyline, then yeah, the Bank of the Despair would have done pretty well too. So, yeah. I feel somewhat fortunate to have won this game, for sure. Being like I'm just all in, but not a bad place to be all in the Shieldred, of course. And it's kind of cool with Shieldred. It's like half a hate piece against you, where it's not like stopping you from doing anything completely, but it does mess with the poorer pages and so on and so forth. So
a few cards down was Archery's Charm, which would have won the game. Just fetch, leer, and go off.
Fetch, leer, and then go off with.
Sorry, you can fetch. You can fetch Brazen Borrower, rather.
Oh, okay, sure.
And that'll bounce the Shieldred, and you can cast the Pier, and then you will win.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well,
yeah, good games.
Good games. Again, thanks for watching. Thanks for these guys coming on and helping me out. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. I love you all.